This is Trophy Dark Witchwood Part 2. Ring 3. The last thing we saw was Tinman eating the heart of another treasure hunter. Very good. And the little fey creature who enticed Tinman to do this is there, also ate a little piece of the heart. And the two of you, did you make ruin rolls for seeing Tinman do this? I can't recall.
We did.
You did.
And we were okay with it.
Yeah, somehow. I mean, you're all at ruin 4, so you can't be too okay with anything, I suppose. But let's just pick up that scene there, and then we will proceed deeper into the wood.
What on earth? What on earth? Why are you doing that? Why?
It's not what it looks like, trust me.
Oh.
Where did you get it?
Oh, that little guy over there said these were the fruits of the forest, and
the forest gives, and we must receive its blessings wholeheartedly.
Here, have a bite. It tastes better than it looks, and there's some sustenance. When's the last time you've seen venison walk through this forest?
What's a venison? And I think he'll take it in his straw hand and just look at it.
What do you do with this meat dumpling, raw meat dumpling, fella?
I think he'll just maybe stick it in where the shoes are. Just stick it into the little tummy pouch.
Very good.
Revel has been spending years trying to suppress the urge to eat raw meat, so none of this is appetizing.
The little fey creature says, "Now we shall go forth deeper. I will show you where to find the heart of the wood."
Green Fortress, excellent. Yes, guide away, guide away.
Who is your friend?
Who is this?
I'm Mr. Forrest, I think. We have not been introduced, actually. What's your name, little fey creature?
My name is of no import.
That's a strange name.
It would be difficult for you to understand it. And the creature just limps forward. Makes pretty good pace despite the fact he's quite small and seemingly disabled, but he's kind of limping forward. And he says, "Hurry, hurry, quickly, quickly."
Revel takes one of her massive paws and grabs the bicep of Tinman. Why are we following this? It?
As you grab my bicep, you hear like a little jingle in my pockets, and I quickly clamp down on my pockets. And I said, he knows the way to the Green Fortress, and Dora is there. So, a local guide, basically.
Pella's just going to lean over and look at the pockets.
Is it going to be obvious that you have coins?
The first implication is that I might be an actual Tin Man. I make metal sounds now. Let's say for now that I make enough inopportune jingling moments, like, climbing over logs or going through the uneven terrain of the woods, that suspicions are aroused.
I like it. I'm good with it. Yeah, we'll just let it be suspicions for now. Good. So you do progress deeper into the wood. Along the way, you find the remains of a man significantly decayed, but probably another person who sought the heart of the wood. And there is a message scratched in the bark of the tree turn back now.
As we journey, am I hearing any conversations from the birds or the other wildlife? Are
No.
they chittering at me? Complete
They-
silence.
They're getting quieter. As you get deeper, they get quieter. They're not gone because you see them, occasionally perched on branches or peeking out of foliage, looking at you. How can you tell, Revel, that they are sad for you?
Whenever I make eye contact with a bird or a fairy squirrel, they look away and do not make eye contact with me. They'll stay put, but they won't look me in the eyes.
You travel for the better part of the day. It gets dark quickly in this forest because the tree coverage overhead is so thick. When you come upon a half-finished log cabin, the roof is partially complete, and it does have a door that could be secured. It would make a decent shelter for the night. There is a rusted axe abandoned in a tree stump in front of the wood cabin. The little creature goes in and out. You sometimes see him, sometimes don't. But he appears now upon arriving at the cabin, and he says, "No, no, no, you must not sleep in such things. No. Stay out here with the trees. Do not hide within the constructs of man."
Is our Munchkin guide still with us?
That was him.
Oh, that was him. I'm sorry. Okay. I thought it was a second creature. Pardon me.
No, he just like is there sometimes and sometimes not. Yeah.
Got it.
Pella, Pella,
Yes.
can I have that acorn?
Oh, yes. And he'll take it out and just hold it right out. No, no subterfuge.
No subterfuge on my part either when taking it.
Are you going to eat it?
No, but I might feed it to this little creature.
Oh. I think he likes meat.
That's true. That's true. Why shouldn't we sleep? I am tired from all this walking.
The creature looks up and says, "Do as you will. I must go and collect the evening's bounty."
So many fruits, so little time for this guy. What, Tinman, why are we following him?
He knows the way to the Green Fortress. How else are we going to find Dora in this convoluted mess of trees that
Do
are
you
all out
have-
to get us?
Do you have any proof of that? Or are you just wandering through the woods with this guy?
The
Who made
girl's
you
sad
eat?
song is getting louder.
Okay, okay.
All right. Did you hear that? There's the proof. The proof is in
Well,
the sad song.
do we push through? Do we want to at least investigate this man structure?
Yeah, I want to see who leaves their axe out in the rain. I'm going to go over to that stump and pull that rusty axe out of the log and, give it a good inspection. Maybe if the trees
I
are
think when you
watching,
pull the
swap
axe out-
my axe with it, unless something happens. All right.
I think when you pull the axe out, the trees like noticeably shudder. It could just be a strong gale wind passing through, but at the precise moment you pull the axe out, there is a susurration of tree branches and leaves.
You said it's rusted. With my experience as a woodcutter, used in the last month, in the last 50 years.
It's quite rusted. I mean, I think it like actually starts to crumble apart
Okay.
as you pull it out. Yeah.
I'll set it back on the stump, and I am happy to head into this cabin.
Revel is happily letting Tin Men go first.
Pella will follow on everybody's heels.
The cabin, as I described earlier, is half complete. There is enough of a roof that you can huddle up underneath it for shelter in case it rains or something like that. But also the roof is exposed enough to where you can build a fire, which is nice inside. And who's building the fire?
I'm
Not
happy
it.
to do it. Oh, sorry. Oh, he said not it. I'm happy to do it.
Revel, while Tinman is stepped away tending the fire, this is Revel and Pello. The little fey creature appears out of the shadows, out of Tinman's sight and hearing. And he says, I know something.
I know many things.
I deliver a message from the forest. The forest says your companion is lying to you. He has collected the treasures of men and kept it from your sight.
Well,
You
that
have
certainly
access.
would
You have access to Tinman's things.
that would certainly explain most of the jangling. And Revel will kind of surreptitiously, with a couple of clawed fingers, try and poke through to find this bounty.
You find them. These are gold coins. They're ancient gold coins. They're not stamped with any kingdom you recognize. At least the stamp is not recognizable. What do you do?
I take all but one of them. And I flip Pella a coin like a game, like trying to catch over the light of the fire. And we play with them until Tinman returns.
I mean, Tinman, you're not too far away. You're enough to where you couldn't hear the conversation or hearing of that. But the fire is done. What do you do?
So I see them tossing a gold coin back and forth.
I don't know. Does he?
I mean, I'm not making any games of it. I am hoping that the light from the fire will catch the gold in the air as they fly back and forth.
Oh, so you're flipping multiple coins. All right. There's definitely a look of sort of like what? And then I kind of go over to my belongings and poke and prod a little bit. Where'd you get those coins?
Oh, I just found them.
Found them in my bag, more like. Those are my coins.
That little creature is full of gold.
How am I going to
Oh,
marry a
he's
princess?
gold.
Shiny's gold.
Looks more like tin.
Give me back my gold. I need to marry that princess.
As if she would have you.
Munchkin, creature of the forest, tell him that's my gold.
The creature
I found
says.
it fair and square.
The creature says, I will return in the morning. And leaves.
Bye.
Bye.
He shuffles out.
If any of you make poor coin tosses, I'm going to grab it and just jam it in my pocket.
I would
Is there-
imagine that through the nature of that struggle that we all kind of end up with equal.
Equal amount of coins. Yeah, it's good. I love it. The night
Big
passes
show of
by.
counting.
The night passes by fairly uneventfully. And indeed, the next morning you are awakened by the fey creature shaking you, each of you in turn, as strong as his little arms will allow. I have found it, an entire grove of the fruits of the forest. You must come quickly, quickly. It is a blessing from the trees.
We should go quickly.
Hurry, gather your things. And he's like grabbing your stuff and shoving it at you. Hurry.
I'm gonna.
I thought the deal was that we were going to go to the heart of the wood.
We are getting closer, very, very close. But the trees have revealed a bounty, and we must act upon it.
Pella's already walking out the door, just
Yes, yes, very good, straw man. Very good. Come, come.
I'm gonna do that responsible thing of stomping out the embers of the fire, but looking around at these trees that have got their eyes on me, I'm gonna very carefully with my boot nudge out one glowing ember and just leave it, and then walk away.
That's a reduction roll. Go ahead and do it.
Well, I'm at 4. I can't go lower, so
Oh, that's your that's your bottom. Okay, well, never mind. Well, yeah, the little fey creature is like, just, you can't go quick enough for him. He says, prepare to feast on this bounty. Prepare yourselves. Even you, construct, even you shall feast.
I'm excited. I've never feasted.
And
I have a bad feeling about this.
my stomach makes a rumbling noise.
You eventually arrive at what appears to be, is in fact a little, a grove of smaller trees. And the trees have fruits growing from the branches. These fruits are a fruit you recognize from childhood. It was thought to be harvested out of existence. But here it is in the Witchwood. Collecting these fruits and bringing back some, especially the seeds, would net you a significant payday. The little creature scrambles up and grabs one and tosses it at you, Revel, and says, eat, eat.
Revel carefully twists it in half and opens it.
It is as you remember it.
Smells.
Smells sweet. It is dribbling with juice. Nothing unusual about the seed. It's a little bit like a mango, very large seed in the middle.
She tentatively smells and takes a bite. This was my favorite fruit.
When you taste it, what touching memory of home does it evoke?
Breakfast around the table with me and my parents and my 5 siblings, and I'm like 10, and it was before any of the attack or beast bitten urges. Summer's morning.
The creature tosses a fruit at you, Tinman. Eat, you must eat.
Take a look at it. You know who would really appreciate this is the Princess of Nagane. I think that, this is probably a thing that the royal court doesn't see often. I'm going to take a bite while meandering towards the trees to try and pull another one down.
When you taste it, what touching memory of home does it evoke?
Well, before I was a woodsman, I was a priest. Before I was a priest, my parents were farmers, and we lived in a clearing on the edge of the woods there. And my ma would go into the woods to harvest these fruits to go along with the eggs and toast that she would make for breakfast.
Pella, the fey creature, says, "Even you, construct, even you must taste the flesh of the forest."
I don't know how.
And the fey creature says, "I can help you."
Oh, please.
The creature begins to gorge itself on the fruit, eating lustily, hungrily, not just one, it eats 2, 3, 4, until its little face and naked body is smeared with sticky juice and orange pulpy flesh. And then it says, "Now." And he reaches his little fingers up to undo the bindings on your chest cavity.
He'll just look down and with a lot of interest watch.
The creature wriggles up into your chest cavity and almost like makes itself comfortable, pulling the straw around its body. And just its little face is peeking out of the straw and the opening in the shirt. What does it feel like to have the creature inside you?
Strange at first, but I think he enjoys the company.
Make a ruin roll.
That's a 2.
Indeed. You can hear the creature say quietly to where the others can't hear, "Now we are both a part of you."
Welcome.
So passes ring 3. Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll come back and do the next one. Ring 4. Pella, the shoes. You have the shoes, right?
I do.
They're getting quite warm. If you check them, you'll see that they are glowing, shimmering in a multitude of colors that you can see. And indeed, as you hold the shoes, the color starts to almost like want to return to your vision. But unless you put them on, the birds overhead will just be as they fly overhead in sequence. Red, orange, black, 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 black. And the little fae will reach his hand from the folds of your shirt and touch the shoes, caressing them with twisted little fingers.
I think he'll kind of like cradle his torso and say, "Yes, they're very pretty."
The little creature says, "You could rule the Green Fortress if only you would wear them."
That's all? I merely
That
have
is
to wear
all.
them?
Yes. Only the wearer of the shoes is recognized as a true royal of the Fae Court.
he will dig out the other shoe and put it on the ground and make very clear that he's about to put them on.
I think the others of you will see this.
Pella, what has that tiny little rot inside you been whispering?
It says I will rule the forest if I wear the shoes. Then I will make it give us Dora back.
If I remember
you-
right, I've not seen the shoes right yet, I think. Is that correct?
I don't recall. I thought you all did, but maybe not. I don't know.
I feel like Tinman had separated from the group. Do you all remember or no?
You can decide now that whether you have or haven't. So
Okay. We give it kind of a snarl like, Pella, what other treasures are you holding on to?
Merely shoes and a piece of the fruit. And that's it.
that's me.
Oh, of course, and my friend. Mr. of no concern.
No import.
No import.
I think that it might be best to wait until we are at the Green Fortress for you to wear the shoes. They don't seem practical for this landscape.
Oh, yes, I wouldn't want to get them dirty or damaged.
Especially if you're going to be a royal.
And perhaps I shouldn't surprise them like that. And he'll pick them up and start shoving them back in.
And so you're getting closer and closer. The singing is getting louder and louder, but also sadder. Everyone, please tell me how now, as you're getting quite close to the source of the song, its melancholy, its sadness is starting to affect you. What sorts of memories does it summon up inside you? Or alternatively, what feels just out of reach?
Reminds me of my time in the priesthood, the constant funeral lamentations and the bereaved families with these lost loved ones, and me really not having answers, more feigning to have answers. And that moment when I kind of realized that I didn't belong there, that I shouldn't be officiating any of these ceremonies.
As we have been deeper and deeper into these woods wandering, Revel is starting to get more and more anxious and afraid. And unfortunately, that also seems to be that she has a tail that's grown and is inside her pant leg swishing around. And she feels like she might never be able to be rid of this curse and go back to her family.
And for Pellet, it reminds them of the years that he spent on the scaffolding, watching as the crops around him died, unable to move, unable to help, watching as people he cared for had to move on.
You all will hear somewhere in the woods the roar of a large cat, a lion perhaps, or something else. Revel. You'll probably know it's a lion. And as you press forward, drawn inexorably by the song, by the shoes, by the pointing of the little creature out of Pella's chest, you will hear that this great cat is stalking you. There's evidence of it. The snapping of twigs, the ruffling of brush. Sometimes it's behind you, sometimes it's ahead of you. A question for everyone. What do you imagine this terrible beast will look like?
Revel is imagining somehow a form of herself reflected in this lion. It is her deepest fear.
I think Pella's thinking of it as the death of the forest, of an end of plant life kind of personified, just a walking malignant husk.
Folks, I know beasts and I know trails. This thing's been circling us. It's been circling us since we came in here. When you see it, it's going to be ragged. It's been out here for ages, and it's, if you smell it, it's too late.
Revel has a slight growl to the tone of her voice, like you would know.
Your encounter with the creature is hastened by screams. The language of the screams, Naganese. The delegation from Nagane is under attack. Tinman, what do you do?
Friends, I feel like we might, a part of me is thinking we rescue this delegation and the princess will see that valor. And yet I know catamounts, and we might be better off to skirt and go directly to the Green Fortress at this time. I'll suggest that direction.
Hello, what does your little friend think?
He was just
Creature.
going to reach down and consult.
How can you tell it's terrified?
It's just quivering inside of his chest. And Pella will say, I think he is very scared.
As am I. Let's make haste from this place.
But all of those people,
You hear their screams. You hear the tearing of flesh and bone. You hear one of them cry out, "For Nagane! For the heir apparent!" As they lunge forward with their weapons.
I am no good in a fight. And I don't think any of us will survive it. We'll end up more fruit for this forest. I do not want to go.
Tinman, make a ruin roll.
You say everyone?
No, just Tinman, a ruin roll.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's a 6, is what that is.
Your ruin goes up by 1. And you see someone stepping out of the wood. It's her. She says, I have sensed the pain of my people. Their suffering is my suffering. I always know where the clutch can be found. I know when they die. And she walks in your direction, right up to you, though not looking at you, Tinman. And you can see the tears streaming down her cheeks as she sort of looks past you in the direction of the screams.
I'm gonna wipe the mix of fruit juice and congeal heart blood off of my chin. Say, Your Highness, we were just about to head to their rescue, but I'm kind of whispering this to her so that hopefully they don't hear. And we're about to head to their rescue, but I didn't. They're so cowardly. I don't think they would follow me into danger. So what you overheard was not my true intentions. And then I'm going to say, quickly, everyone, this way to the Green Fortress, and try to use my skill in trails to make it look like we're heading away from the fight, and then bend back in towards where the fight is.
Make a reduction roll.
It's a 3, so that is
Your
below my
rune goes
rune.
down. Your
Yeah.
rune goes down back to 5 or back to 4, I guess. And the others are not aware that you are leading them into the danger. And so everyone is pressing forward to get away.
Well, here's a question: are they necessarily following me?
Well, that sounded like everybody was running away, but maybe not.
Revel is not looking for battle, does not want to face this creature. And if Tidman says quickly to the Green Forest, she will follow.
So will Pella.
It's all happening very quickly. And before you know it, you turn into a clearing where you see limbs all over the grass. You see guts and viscera spilled out. The little voice inside your chest, Pella, says, fruits for the harvest. And you see a lone member of the Naganese delegation trying to fend off the largest lion you've ever seen, if you've even seen a lion apart from what you know of Revel. How is the lion even worse than you imagined, everyone?
It is 3 times the size that Revel has ever been in any form.
So it towers, yes. The Nagane soldier probably only comes up to its haunches, maybe not even that high.
I think instead of 4 paws, it has 2 rather large human hands tipped with ragged claws.
And it looks less like it has a coat of fur and more just a rusty coating of congealed matter.
Everyone make a ruin roll, please.
Going up.
It looks like Revel and Pella are going up. The betrayal was definitely a betrayal.
I feel terrible. I feel so bad.
You were both at 5. Tinman, this Nagane soldier, the last of the delegation, his companions and countrymen strewn about the field in most gory fashion, is going to be struck down if you do not do something. What do you do?
I think I'm gonna buy heartily into this vision of the princess that I saw and exploit my ritual shell, which lets me grow skin as a tough outer layer of armor, and kind of I don't know, sort of grab some nearby tree bark, like, kind of slap 2 fingers into some tree trunks, dig into them, and let the bark just course down my arms and weather me up, and then try to throw myself in between to give him cover for a moment, or them. What I don't know if we, let them get away somehow.
I love it. That's fantastic. Let's do the risk roll. Ben, Sarah, what could go wrong?
The trees do not take kindly to being used in this manner and consume him, partially or wholly, depending on the roll.
Yeah, I think the trees betray you and they cover you with like soft new bark. You just get shredded by the lion. It does no good at all.
I was thinking that unbeknownst to you, when the trees discovered that you were a woodcutter, they have called one of their own.
Like a people cutter? What do you mean called one of their own?
Well, now you'd be made of wood. They have friends with axes.
Interesting. Okay, let's get your dice going. Do you have a relevant skill?
Well, it's a ritual for show, and then I've got beasts if it's about trying to distract it.
Oh, to distract the beast. Yeah, I'm into that. Yeah, since you're kind of going up against the beast, you're not technically fighting it, but you're encountering it. I like that. Devil's bargains.
No matter what, the Princess of Nagane can see you now and witness whatever happens next.
No matter what, at the end of this incursion, you will return to the forest.
No matter. I guess along similar lines, no matter what, the bark is part of you now.
Can I merge those into the bark becomes part of my physical appearance, and the princess finds that not appealing?
Sure. You just get 1 die, but yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Risk
Right,
2,
so
1, 2 light,
1.
1 dark. Go for it. Hey, 6 light. There you go. That's as good as it gets in this circumstance. Go ahead and describe your ritual and how you save the soldier from Nagane.
All right. As I said earlier, I like kind of find 2 nearby tree trunks, jam my fingers into them, and just sort of channel bark like rolling up my skin. With that, there's a quaking in the leaves of the trees that maybe causes the beast to pause as it's about to chew up this one last survivor. And from there, I'll give out like a "for Nagane," but it's clear that it's the first time I've really like yelled that, so it's like I'm kind of off on the enthusiasm. And kid is like, "For not for Nagane," and go out. And I guess my vision would be that it gives me a good hard crack with its paws, but in that distraction, the soldier hopefully escapes.
Pella and Revel, you can also escape if you run away at this moment. You won't have to deal with the lion. Do you run?
Revel can't. She is unable to, frozen in fear, slowly turning more and more into a lion herself.
Oh,
Just
very good.
no.
I love it. Pella, do you run?
I think that seeing Revel like that, I think Pella instead is going to use his dryad ritual and try and get the trees to help them.
Oh, I like that. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'm into it. Let's start with that, because basically everyone's gonna have to be saved at this point. The Nagane soldier runs off, but the three of you are still there. Let's talk about dice. Brian and Sarah, what could go wrong here?
The trees are also frightened of this beast and kind of almost dip out of the way, guiding
Creating a path
directly to Pela.
Yeah.
Like, not us, not us.
I imagine that the dryad ritual could also affect the Tinman's bark and things, perhaps to harm or to his own detriment, like squeezing him in too tightly or breaking a couple of bones.
Oh, in the ritual, you turn into a tree. Is that true?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, that changes what my thought on what can go wrong. If what can go wrong is you forget that you were animate, that you revert to being just you're there in the woods.
Yeah,
It's a
I
scarecrow
like
again.
that. I like all these ideas. I don't have anything to add. Let's talk about dice. Do you have a skill that applies here, Pella?
I have rituals and sacrifice.
Rituals, yeah, and mimicry. Okay, you got your light die. Devil's bargains. So what does Dryad do? Dryad says, stay still to transform into a tree and communicate with other trees. Okay, I like that. No matter what, you are going to learn something. Yeah. Come back to me. I'm still thinking of mine.
I'm looking at your drive. Have we established what the Southern Pass Company does? Like what business that is?
We haven't. I've kind of loosely been thinking that they owned the farm that he was stationed on, and somehow he's been conned in to recoup their losses for them.
Oh, interesting. Okay. To save the farmer, or?
I imagine the farm's dead, but they have this innocent mannequin that will just go out and get money for them.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Okay.
All right.
It's bleak, but I like it. Yeah.
Here's the devil's bargain. The beast rips that little fake creature out of your chest and devours it right in front of your eyes.
Oh, I like that. I'll
no
second
matter
that.
no matter what, the process of transforming into a tree and then back into a mannequin leaves you wearing the shoes.
Ooh. I think I like that. Let's see what shakes out from that, provided we
Right.
survive.
2 light, 1 dark. Go for it. Yeah, this is it. If you go 6 dark, you're done. You did not. 6 light. The dice favor you today. Go ahead and describe how you save everyone from the lion.
I think he will kind of turn toward Revel and say, "I will protect you." And as he does, he'll kind of stretch out into a tree shape, and the bark that makes him up just shoots out through his clothes, and he expands into a tree. And there's probably a little knot in the center that the munchkin's head is peeking out of. And he will whisper in the way of trees to the other trees to help us, protect us. We are of you.
And what does that look like?
I think the trees kind of they sway again, some of them maybe a little grudgingly, and they reach toward Pella and form kind of like a large, dense knot of trees around the others. And the lion is stymied or confused and takes off.
Revel, and if this conflicts too much with your idea of your character, Sarah, just tell me. But Revel, as the lion, as you're separated from the beast, as the woods do this for you, how do you know that lion is the creature that turned you, the beast that bit you?
You and I are on the same vibe. The rust color was disguising the fact that this lion has kind of a tri-colored coat, and as it flees, I see on the back half the kind of like pale yellow of like a Neapolitan ice cream of a lion.
That might be the thing that puts you over the edge. Roll ruin.
I'm scared. I am okay.
You're okay.
It's leaving.
How
It's
do you
going to be
feel?
fine. Oddly enough, as I shape into this half lion, half woman form, I recall the power of it, and I'm feeling stronger, and the fear abates now that I'm embracing it, so to speak. Now that I am fully formed, I feel less like myself, but also less afraid.
Fantastic. Pella, now that you're wearing the shoes, when you come back, everything is a riot of color. So vivid, almost to the point where it almost dazzles. And the voice inside you says, I see what you see. I can see the veil lifted.
I can see green. I missed green. What is the veil?
You see birds overhead, flying overhead in sequence. Green, 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 vivid emerald green. The creature will say no more. You proceed ever closer. Though Dora's song, assuming it was Dora singing the song, has gone quiet. You start to smell poppy smoke, a smell you may be familiar with if you've ever been in some of the more licentious districts of Umbret. The poppy smoke is thick and alluring. And you see a group of Feyborn lounging, almost like a picnic, just at the edge of the woods. Feyborn, of course, are a uncommon, even rare folk, but they are a folk of the land, and so you will know them. You know them by the wooden masks they wear over their faces. And of course, there are all sorts of rumors about what lies behind the wooden mask from non-Feyborn, what happens if you look behind the mask. We've talked about that before, I believe. This group of Feyborn, with their wooden masks, they beckon you over. They hold up their long pipes for smoking the poppy. Do you go?
That sounds like a marvelous relief after the events of the day. And Revel does wander that direction, fully lioned, top half, just as if there was a bustier and then a lion on top of a person.
I love it. The
As
rest of you
we're,
go.
as we're kind of walking that way, I'm looking down at my skin, still kind of barked up and a little full of bravado. Like, did you see that? Did you see how I scared off that beast? And the princess is going to hear about my heroics. And I kind of touched my hand on my face and I realized my own face looks a little like wood. I'm like, ooh,
Hmm.
I think these fae might accept me for a change.
It may indeed. Pella, do you go? Even though I'm sure smoking poppy does nothing for you.
He'll go, yeah, and I think he'll tilt his head appraisingly at Tin Min and nod with, "It's a good look."
The Faeborn pass around pipes to you. There's about a half a dozen of them. They pass around pipes to you. The creature inside you, Pella, does not speak, but you can sense that it wants the smoke.
He will allow it. He'll step forward and allow the creature to reach out.
I think he does not reach out. He wants you to smoke, and then he will just suckle the inhalations from inside of you.
He'll whisper, "You'll have to walk me through this," and then go and fetch the pipe.
The central Faeborn, the one who seems to be their leader, or at least is the center of their little band, is his wooden mask is in the shape of the sun and painted yellow like the sun. And he says, "Welcome. We so rarely get your kind this far out. Please sit. Smoke the poppy."
Revel does just that. Kind of like lounges in a very feral cat sort of way.
You should
And,
know that we do not discriminate against your kind here. You who have been, well, among your folk, they would say cursed, but we would say blessed.
It certainly doesn't always feel like a blessing. And she'll take a big puff of smoke, an inhale from the pipe. And as she exhales, you hear a deep rumbling purr.
Hmm. Tell me, why have you come this far into the so-called Witchwood? Indeed, you have just left the Witchwood. Almost no one ever makes it to this side.
We seek a girl. Her name is Dora.
Ah, yes. The name is known to me. She is just over the hill.
Do you know why she stopped singing?
I suppose she found whatever she was looking for.
I'm puffing on a pipe of sorry, pipe of poppy. As I'm puffing on that, I'll say I've heard that those who seek this child are fated to terrible misfortune.
Yes, well, your kind do harbor many superstitions. I suspect your Dora is exactly where she needs to be. You know, it is quite interesting, really, that you should be out here. This is a place of the liminal, a place between worlds. We, as Faeborn, understand very well how to live between these worlds. And you, Beast-Bitten, and you, Mannequin, also understand this instinctively, even if you have never thought about it in such terms. And yet I wonder about you, soot-covered man. How are you living between the worlds?
I learn, I change, I adapt, and kind of hold up my little wooden fingers. I said, I've feel like I've lived a few lives in this one life.
Yes, I suppose. Inhale deeply, friends. You are going to need it, especially if you go over the hill. Do take a moment to look up and ponder the sun. A question for you all. How can you tell this is not the sun of your world?
It looks ringed. It looks like there are several eclipses around it.
I think it bubbles like the surface of a volcano.
Oh, you can see it roiling.
Yeah.
And the shadows it casts are essentially inverted. They're brighter rather than darker.
I do wonder if some of you will be ceasing your journey right here. You would certainly not be the first to stop and join our little brigade of pleasure and detachment. Please roll ruin, everyone.
It's a 6 for me. I'm going up.
Welcome.
A 6 puts you at what, Tinman?
5.
5. So everybody's at 5. Very good. How do you all feel at the end in this fog of opium smoke or poppy smoke and under the warmth of another sun?
Revel feels in the same way that hazy drug fog can create like limitations and uncertainties. She instead feels nigh invincible. There is nothing that can come between her and enough money to get rid of this forever. Do I want to get rid of this? Is this what I want?
I think Pella feels like it would be all too easy to put down roots here and just join the forest. Comfortable even.
I make an excuse to stand up and stretch my legs and walk towards the woods. And when I come back, I'm whittling a piece of wood and kind of checking it on for size to see if it'll make a suitable mask.
And now I fear it is time for you to go, friends. I do not know what precisely awaits you over the hill. We cannot see this place where you are going. It is invisible to us. Though we can feel it, we sense it always. I do hope you will make it back and report what you found there so that we might live vicariously through you.
I will.
The poppy smokers, the Feyborn, go back to communicating with each other in their strange language. A gentle disinvitation from their party, and a wind practically pushes you to the edge of the hill.
I have a mechanical question.
Sure.
When using my ritual to cast a thread to find a destination, I would like to do so disingenuously to my party. So
to
how
send
much
them.
control do I have?
It would just be a reduction roll, and otherwise the ritual is just part of the fiction. But the idea is to lead them astray.
Yes.
I like it. Let's say you're doing this, you've cast the thread, you're following the thread, and basically we're going to roll to see if the others realize that you're intentionally leading them astray. Go ahead and roll reduction.
Tinman did us so dirty in that last fight. There's no way that I'm going to let him lead us anywhere.
Indeed.
Can I ask a question as you're rolling here? Where are you trying to falsely lead us to or away from?
I think that I might sense where the beast is
Oh,
from previously.
you're going to lead them to the lion.
I am.
I love it. You got a 6, which means the others will be aware of what you're doing. Your ruin does go down, though. You're following the thread. Pella, what's your first sign that this is not the right way?
The trees are too familiar. We've passed this way before.
Do you say
I
anything?
don't think so.
No, I know that tree. It was one that I touched. It helped us. It has a name, but I would not be able to speak it.
Well, the thread is supposed to lead me to where we're supposed to go. I think this must be the right way.
Tinman, you know trails.
Yeah,
How can you
I was
tell
about
this
to-
is wrong?
Look here, I know beasts and I know trails. And that wind that was pushing the poppy smoke up the hill and us with it. This is not the right direction. You're
Tinman, how do you know that the thread is different than last time? How?
it might be as simple as when Revel has done this and it's worked, it is a magically guided, sort of sinuous, alive thread. And this is just draped branch to branch kind of poorly.
I love it. You realize with just moments to spare that Revel has led you to the lion. You hear its low growl. Like a fucking rune bear in Elden Ring, it will clear the gap in no time flat. You only have a moment. But you know that Revel has betrayed you. Let's have that scene. It's going to be a short one.
I think Pella will just turn to Revel and say, "Why?"
Must. I'm sorry. My condition compels me.
I forgive you.
You know, this was a terrible idea. I don't know what we need to leave this quickly. Let's run up over the hill.
It's too late for that. The beast, very silent, almost like it was waiting for you to finish your conversation, leaps into atop you, or it's bounding down on top of all three of you. Its clawed hands, its clawed four-limb hands, allowing it to quickly like pull itself through trees to get to you very fast. It opens its mouth to let out a roar. And instead of roaring, it lets out the sad song of the girl pouring out of its mouth. Everyone, please roll ruin.
Apparently, I've heard sadder songs in my time.
We all have.
You all got 4s. Everyone's okay, but you still got to deal with this though. Pella, actually no, Revel. What do you do? Sounds like you're having second thoughts. Are you going to try to save them, or are you going to run? For Revel,
I will attempt to save them.
how so?
And I think that looks like Revel finally standing square off in front of this beast as it's coming through the trees. And you hear her actually roar, as fearsome as you expected from this creature. And she just stands there waiting to grapple it if necessary.
I love it. That's great. You can grapple with it long enough for you all to escape. You cannot kill it. That's not allowed in Trophy Dark, but I like it. Let's have a risk roll. What could go wrong? Brian, Ben.
And getting bitten twice by the same beast, the one that made you a beast bitten, it withdraws its powers.
I'm going to say it's the opposite. You are full lion. There's no human left.
I was thinking that, yeah, you'd kind of, in a beast bitten way, sync up with it and become just like it.
Let's have some die pools. Your skills. Certainly you have rituals and strength and transformation. That all works. Devil's bargains. I'm going to offer mine as a devil's bargain. At the end of the story, maybe not right away, but at the end of the story, your human side is gone.
You will speak to this. You will learn why you were bitten.
Sarah, tell me if I'm remembering your backstory right from last time. With this devil's bargain here, is that
I'm trying to save enough money for a cure because the first cure didn't work and my family won't accept me as a beast bitten.
Right. And so here's my devil's bargain. And I kind of thought it was that or something akin to that, is that in this altercation with the beast, somehow you discover that your family is the one that sent this beast to bite you. Like they deliberately expelled you, if that makes sense.
These are all pretty good options. Mine's probably the most intense or most like negative, I guess, but the other two are very good narratively. You can also reject them all.
I really like the dark ending. I think that I will become a beast of the wood and feast on the fruits, and that is how Revel will meet her end.
I love it. Let's have risk 2-1.
Oh.
2 light, 1 dark is a 4 light. The complication is only one of your companions will be able to escape immediately. You get to choose. Or you can add a dark die and try again.
I will add a dark die and try again.
Go for it. Risk 2-2.
Woof.
It is a 5 dark, meaning your ruin goes up, and it's the same result. You have to choose which one gets away.
Pella.
Pella gets away. Describe everything up to this point. How do you save Pella, at least?
As the beast crashes into Revel, she slides and grapples with it and casts her voice back to Pella, which is half growl at this point and barely in a language you understand. Run. And then she bites the lion, grappling, and it's pissed about that, and that ensues the additional ruin on my behalf.
Indeed. Tinman,
Yeah, I'm not free of the mess yet, am I?
you are not. Pella gets away. You are just, I think it's not interested in Pella because Pella's not flesh. So actually, neither of you would really probably get away, but like, he's just not focused on Pella. And so Pella can get away. You cannot. This thing moves very agilely, can wrench itself free from Revel pretty easily and get to you. What do you do to save yourself, Tidman?
Speaking of interest in flesh, I know beasts and I know how to sever flesh.
It's true. You do
I'm
know
going to
these
use my
things.
sever ritual to remove my own arm and then here, boy, and throw it like a
That's very
fleshy
good.
stick and run the other way.
That's fantastic. Ben, Sarah, what could go wrong?
You bleed out entirely, not able to save your own fluids.
Yeah, I think it's just drawn to your flesh wound and goes for your body instead, right?
Yeah, that seems to make most sense to me.
Tinman, you have skills we've already established. Devil's bargains. Who wants to offer one? I'll keep it fairly simple. You never get the arm back.
I'll point out a thing about the ritual that you might not have noticed is that I officially retain control of that body part.
Okay.
I might retain mental
Yeah.
status of that as well.
But
That's
with
what I was
Devil's
thinking.
bargain, you might maintain your connection, but you'll never actually retrieve it. So,
Well, I meant in the sense of like, and I will suffer the digestion. Like,
oh, that's horrifying. Yeah, I like that too.
That's where I was thinking was you will feel the arm for the rest of your time,
Oh, that's interesting.
or its
Yeah,
time.
I like that.
I do. I don't have anything to contribute except that it would be hilarious if that arm was stalking the Princess of Nagane forever.
So many creepy ways this could go. What do you think, Tinman?
yeah, that's good. Yeah, I kind of want this severed arm to end up as like in a reliquary in the Princess of Nagana's bedroom or something. Whatever, I'm at 5 ruin. It's probably going to go horribly here. Sorry, I'm choosing between arm is lost permanently and
you can feel the arm inside the lion, or the arm pursues the Princess of Nagane.
oh, the arm pursues the princess. Absolutely.
Okay. So you've got risk. You got 2 light dice, 1 dark dice. Risk 2, 1. Take it away. Nope, risk, not ruin.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Thank you. 3 dark is tied, so I'm stuck, right?
You are stuck, and it's
a fail.
Yep. Describe everything up to the point of your arm being severed, please.
All right. I know that dirty beast bitten did me wrong. I could see the trail of string just strung out tree twig to tree twig, and I know trails, and that's no real trail. But I thought there was a chance I'd be able to get my gold back, and then here's this beast, and it's the darndest thing. They kind of smell alike, like that big nasty one over there and Revel. Like it's almost like they're kin. And as this goes wrong, and I see Pella hoofing off over the hill, there's nothing left to do but to kind of fall back on what's worked in the past. And in the congregation, you could distract them with these miracles. And so I thought, miracle of the severed arm. And so I used that kind of crushing strength that I have as a woodcutter and snap this thing off, rip it out, cracking through the barky texture of the skin, and try to do my best to cajole this massive cat into chasing it and fling it off into the woods, and it doesn't go well at all.
Revel roll ruin for that. Pella, you can decide whether you see that or not, but you were otherwise running away. So
I had a
Yeah.
reduction roll idea as well.
okay, well, let's see if you survive the ruin roll first.
Let's see. Oh, nerd. So many devices today.
You do. Pella, you can choose to see it or not. Otherwise, you can just run.
No, I think he will listen to what he was told and just go.
Yep. Tinman, you toss the arm. The lion pays it no mind and leaps upon you. And as you are swallowed whole, your body being cut to ribbons in its maw as you slide down its throat. The sad song being sung the whole time. What sadness is in your heart as you are cut to ribbons?
I know that I did this right. I made all the right choices, and that the princess was going to see me as a hero. I had the gold. I saved the member of the delegation. I was going to earn her heart. Darn it. I did earn her heart, and she's going to hear of that, and yet hear of my demise and horribly lament that I've been lost, that I'm unavailable, that I'm not going to be there to have this blossoming, beautiful romance. And then there's sort of the agony of like bark armor kind of crunching in as digestive tract squeezes tighter and tighter and tighter and tighter, and kind of a compression.
Your character is lost, but I will let you play your arm for the remainder of the session. Maybe just little vignettes of what your arm is doing. And Revel, you might join later, but Pella, you are the first to arrive at the Green Fortress. The fortress, you practically stumble on it in your haste. It is covered in symbols very similar to the ones on the shoes. And it's a little bit like a ziggurat, like a multi-leveled, glowing, vibrant green structure. The green, you'll now notice, is actually coming from moss, luminous moss that covers it. And as soon as you step into the fortress, the shoes stop shifting colors and settle on emerald green. And the interior of this place, you're just in a series of, it's a labyrinthine series of hallways lined in this luminous moss, bathing everything in dim green light. So passes ring 4. Let's take a 5-minute break and we'll do ring 5. Ring 5. Revel, do you eventually go towards the Green Fortress, or do you stay with the lion that created you?
I still have hope at this point that I might be free of this. I think it's my proximity to this creature that is causing all of the problems. And I also flee up the hill, almost half running, half loping.
Very good. Hello, you're there first. You're wandering around these luminous green tunnels.
You stopped
And-
transmitting there.
Do what?
You stopped transmitting after luminous.
Oh, you're wandering around these luminous green tunnels, and they would be very dark if not for the glowing green on the walls. And you hear a voice. Welcome. It took me a moment to detect you. You do not have the same sort of vitality as others, and yet you do have a spark within you.
I think there will be a moment of concern. He'll look down and then back up.
Why have you come here?
My name is Pella.
Pella, welcome. But I put the question to you again. Why have you come here?
We're looking for Dora. I am looking for Dora.
Ah, Dora. Dora has gone home to be with her people.
Oh. That's unfortunate.
Yes. The woman who you refer to as a witch was actually buying her time to navigate this place so she could find her way home. She is one of us, you see.
And what are you?
I am from the other realm, though I suppose I am from this realm at the moment. These things do tend to blur, don't they?
I wouldn't know about that. Is
Turn
she all
left.
right?
Yes, she is fine.
He'll turn.
Turn left there, Pella. Good. And now turn right there. And go down that corridor right there and make the first left, you see. Do you follow his instructions?
Oh, yes.
At the end, it opens up into a very bright, sunny space. How can you tell you're back at the farm?
The birds sound familiar. Very familiar.
Meanwhile, Revel, you managed to enter the Green Fortress from a different way, but you're also in this labyrinth, this glowing green labyrinth. The voice
It
addresses
is
you as
green, though? It
Do
is
what?
green.
it is green, yeah.
Okay.
In the interior as well.
Mhm.
Glows with this moss. You hear the voice as well. So many visitors today. And who are you?
Hello. I am Revel.
Revel, a fine name.
Thank you.
It puts one in mind of a celebration.
My parents were very pleased to have me. Who are you?
My name is not important. I am the spirit of this place, you could say.
And do you have a purpose?
My purpose at the moment is to discover why you are here.
I wish to be free of this.
Ah, yes. The peace blessing. Your kind
My-
are not frequently accustomed to it and indeed look down upon it. Why would you want to be free of it? It is a magnificent thing to be connected to the natural realm, is it not?
Revel pops a few bones and almost as if coming to terms with her own flesh. And I don't deny that there are certain advantages, but my family will not have me, and I cannot be with them, and that pains me.
Yes, I can see the logic of that. I would be most distressed if my family rejected me. Revel, you're going to want to make a right there.
To what?
Just make a right, please.
Right. And I do.
Now, walk past the next 3 junctions and make a left.
I peer to the left of the first junction. What do I see?
More glowing green labyrinth.
It's all green labyrinth. I will go up 3 and take a left.
Very good. Now go another 20 paces or so, and you should see a right there. Yes, make that right.
And I do.
And it opens up into a forest clearing. How can you tell it's the day when you returned?
It had rained torrentially the night before, and I can still see the fog and the color of the clouds, the exact same shades.
What is Tinman's arm doing right now?
That's a fine question. Crawling slowly up the hill, and encounters a gold coin that fell out of his pocket whenever he was snatched up and shaken like a rag doll by the beast. Kind of tries to grab the coin and keep crawling. It might make it to the green fortress eventually here.
Very good, very good. Pella, you're at the farm. You're in a field, and there is a farm implement, a hoe there. The voice says, you have a chance to make this land fertile again, to make it grow. You have the opportunity to put everything back just as it was, to satisfy those you are bound to. You have but to pick up the tool and strike the earth.
And he'll step forward, and I think he'll look down at his chest and say, "Will you stay with me?"
It is silent.
Hello, my friend?
Pick up the tool and strike the earth, Pella, to bring bounty to the land once again.
And this will bring my people back.
Yes, everything you hope for, everything you desire. The simple life.
And he will pick it up.
Cutting over to Revel. Revel, you see the beast, the lion. Though it has been brought low, it is on its back, its belly exposed. There is a sword laying next to it. The voice says, pick up the sword and strike true, and the blessing shall be lifted.
Revel picks up the sword and tries to make eye contact with the beast. Crouches low in her beast-bitten form and just stares.
It looks at you with human eyes, pleading eyes, and yet with something resembling a smirk or a smile on its cat-like face. Strike true at the heart of the creature, and the blessing shall be lifted.
Revel still staring. The creature would see her eyes blink human, and blink back to cat again, stuck in indecision.
I need you both to make a ruin roll first. You both get to choose your route. Neither of you went up. You know in the back of your head that if you strike the earth, what you're really going to do is bury the hoe into Revel's skull. And you know that if you strike true at the heart of the creature, what you're really going to do is cut Pella to pieces. And yet, you also know that the voice does not lie. You could achieve everything you hope to achieve in this moment. But because you are at Ruin 5, you get to choose. Do you turn back and leave the Green Fortress, or do you strike the blow?
I think Pella will hesitate and say, I shouldn't leave my friends.
Revel does not strike. Not necessarily because it's Pella that she'll be destroying, but that she can't quite bring herself to harm even the vision of this beast.
So you
Tosses
both,
the sword to the ground. And
So you
tries to
both turn away?
remember back, 3, left. No, right this time.
yes. You turn away as well, Pella.
Yes.
You both eventually come across the severed arm of Tinman in the labyrinth, and you're both, all three of you are there, and all three of you, or 2 1/4 of you, are walking down the luminous green hall. At the end of the hall, as you wordlessly approach, is a heavy velvet curtain in purple, bisecting where you're at and what is on the other side. Do you step or crawl forward and pull back the curtain?
I absolutely do. In fact, I will use a single claw to just kind of cut or tear the curtain away.
That concludes Ring 5. Let's go to epilogues. Bearing in mind things that you agreed to as parts of Devil's Bargains, and what's left of you, and anything else you want us to know, we shall do epilogues. Think about your epilogue. We'll take a little break so you can do that. Think about the future of your character, how they've been changed by this experience. If your character is missing or gone or is not going back to the regular world, maybe narrate what that's like, what that means. Try not to implicate the other characters in your epilogue, and you can narrate any point in the future you wish. Let's take like a 3-minute break, come back, and we'll do epilogues. Epilogues, whoever wants to go first, take it away.
You see sitting in a clearing at the edge of the Witchwood, a giant beastly lion, basking in the poppy smoke and the light of a now familiar sun. And as it opens its mouth and maybe a half of a yawn or a roar, you would hear singing a sad song that in the language of the Fae is called Revel's End.
Thank you. Tidman or Pella?
Pella, I think we see the green fort, and beyond the first wall, where once it had just been fallen rubble and emerald labyrinth, there is a field of the fruit that they encountered, and more little fey creatures darting in and out. And at the center, there is a big tree that kind of stretches from end to end. And right in the center of it is a burlap mask.
And what fate awaits the arm of Tinman?
So it takes a long time for fingers to crawl from the Green Fortress all the way to the Citadel of Nagana and reach the palace.
You gotta go across an ocean.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is like hitchhiking.
Yeah, it's an epic journey. Yeah.
Right. All this time with a single gold coin kind of clutched, that's some sort of like weird dowry. I don't know. The arm finally makes it to the palace, and it's clearly a miracle that there's this living arm that arrived with an ancient gold coin. And so it is quickly snatched up by priests who may have at one time known Tinman back in his early days, but they no longer recognize this arm. And they put it into a glass reliquary and set it inside the chapel where the princess prays every day. But to her, it's ignored. She's there doing her prayers to the sisters, and this hand is sort of desperately like, trying to touch the glass, hoping that she'll notice, and she just never does.
That concludes Witchwood. Let's have stars and wishes. Wishes, I don't really know what that would be in this context, so we'll just do stars. I'll start. I really enjoyed it. It was good. I thought, I'm always impressed by Trophy Dark's ability to turn out a unique story, and in such a tight time frame, or in such a small space. And so I really just am happy that continues to be the case. And there were so many great scenes. I loved the interesting relationship between the Munchkin and Pella. I really enjoyed I liked this sort of like pushing into danger that Brian and Sarah did with their respective characters. Brian, when it was like to save the Nagane soldier, and Revel basically like throwing the entire group under the bus as an act of revenge or something. And so that was great. I just loved all that. That was really, really good. It all felt very in character. Everybody leaned into the play to lose ethos really, really well. My wish is not so much a wish, because I love how the story ended, but I do think it would have been interesting to have a contest role between Revel and Pella at the end. Like almost like them like in the back of their mind knowing what they're doing, but like doing it anyway, and yeah, that would have been great fun. Loved all the epilogues. Yeah, it was just a great story. It was really, really fabulous. I was happy. I loved the Oz references that kind of wormed their way in. Yeah, it was just good fun all around.
I'll go next. I have a lot of stars for moments. I think that especially as we've been playing together a while now, we have a little bit of a vibe, which I appreciate, but no more. I guess it's more of the little details that we all weave into our storytelling are becoming more familiar to me as a player. And that's fun to see, because like the moment that Pella turned into a tree but you carved out a knot so we could see the little munchkin head, or just even deciding that playing fetch with your own arm was a good idea. Like those moments are a lot of fun to role play with. And I think that that's a lot of fun. I also, Jason, the voice of that little creep the whole way through, just like mwah, stars.
Speaking of Jason's voice, when you were navigating through the Green Fortress with the "Make a Right, Please," there's part of me that I thought was like, that's a good voice for like a car navigation. You know, like if you took that voice and just gave it in driving commands and could download that, it'd be really fun. For the incursion as a whole, it's really fun to play with a permutation of pop culture, because there's always something to hang your hat on. Like you're like, all right, well, I've got no idea. I'm gonna do a thing, but I'm gonna do a thing slightly riffing off of the well-known Wizard of Oz. Hang on, there's something note in chat that's too funny apparently.
Effortless, yeah. So
Traffic ahead, but it's worse than that. Jason, the voice, please. What else? Yeah, it's already been mentioned, but the munchkin peeking out of the knot was like the worst belly button in the world.
I love that moment. It was really good, and I love that moment because it was just such a natural like evolution of what had already kind of happened in the story, you know, or like a detail. It was just like it felt really good. Yeah.
What else? Oh, Sarah, you described Revel as in the partial transformation as like a bustier, but then a lion above that. And that's the Wizard of Oz I want to see. What else? 2 1/4 of you was quite nice too, as a phrase, a turn of phrase. So lots of great moments. It's a lot of fun.
I have a lot of those. I really liked how we saw Revel get courageous as it went on, and it was probably more Revel just having enough, but it felt like courage, and that was good. I really enjoyed just the way you played with color throughout the whole incursion. And I mean, how can you beat? I'm going to use my own arm as a jerky treat to lure this thing away. That felt very
And I love how
right.
just like it was the absolute wrong thing to do. Like it just didn't work at all. It's like there was nothing. The lion did not care at all.
I mean, I guess it depends. For the arms perspective, it was great, but no, it was good. I enjoyed. At the end there, I was kind of going for Pella got to be king of the Green Fortress after all. So that was
that's good.
I liked being able to kind of see the things that were seeded early bloom, as it were. And the twist that the lion was the one doing the singing. That was a little gut punch, and it was good.
I think also I have stars for the way that the Trophy Dark in general really compels us as players to craft with every kernel we can because of that sparseness that we start out with. The story feels organic because that's the only part of the story we have, so we have to build from here. And I think that that's just a really excellent way to do these short incursions, for sure.
I agree completely. And I think what's really interesting is I think the system, what's really smart about Jesse's system is it harnesses like the very best of like collaborative storytelling. It puts just enough mechanical, like just enough mechanical overlay on top of it to make it work so that we all are kind of really actively contributing to each other's stories. And I think that's really terrific. It always, and because you have the incursion to kind of fall back on, and to sort of interweave, it's not like some story games, which in my opinion, either have like a really bad getting started problem, or they just feel a little adrift because they don't have that anchor. They don't have that like core, they don't have that theme that the GM can always kind of circle back to. Just the fact that there is a GM, actually, I think actually really helps a lot as far as that goes. So yeah, and it always just leads to such great outcomes, I think, because of the way the it just really manages to capture this terrific mix of like mechanics and natural storytelling tendencies. And I love it. So good. You get so much done in, well, 1 or 2 sessions, basically, you know. So.
By the way, Ben, thanks for at the beginning suggesting that we lean in hard on the direct Wizard of Oz and just make our characters be the characters. It worked out really well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It was a lot of fun to play.
Yeah, it was great. I was actually not apprehensive, but I was like I wasn't expecting it, and so I knew it was coming up in the incursion. I was like, well, there's going to be a lion, there's going to be a Tinman's cabin, you know, like I kind of knew some things that were going to be coming, and so I did wonder last time, like, is the story going to make sense? And it did. I mean, like the existence of the lion being like the source of the beast-bitten curse, like, is perfect, right? Like it was still trophy, right? Like it has these like touchstones of the Wizard of Oz, but it was still trophy at the end of the day, which I thought was really great. That was one of the nice things so Jesse rewrote this, right? And it's very heavily rewritten from what we originally published in Codex. And the rewrites are nice because essentially Jesse's had like, it got rewritten with like all of the trophy world and the trophy setting having been developed at that point. When we originally published Witchwood, it was the second incursion right after Tomb of 10,000 Dreams. And so very little was established about the world, right? And so Jesse was kind of, you know, it's a little more vague. It's a little more, it doesn't feel as rooted in the setting. And this version feels so rooted in the setting, rooted. And so I really appreciate it. I'm glad we got a chance to do it. It's the first time I've run it in this variation, so I'm really, really pleased with that. I was also really happy that the Man in the Sun Mask made an appearance in the story. And smoking opium.
Yep.
It just felt too perfect for the poppy thing. But there are Faeborn. That is how Faeborn work in the setting, though. They wear the wooden masks, right? So yeah.
It definitely works. And I think that having the kind of what's going on in the incursion be kind of reflective of the characters actually works really well too. And having the echoes of the Tin Men and the lion, it didn't feel shoved in there to meet some Wizard of Oz quota.
I don't think so either. And what I think, and honestly, like as an audience member and GM, but as sort of watching it, it almost to me felt like it almost had that feeling of like, this is not the first time the story has been told, you know.
Yes.
You all are just the next generation. You're just the current iteration of people who are doing this tale, you know, which I thought was great. Yeah, I love that. I also like the idea of, even though it never went there, it's a wish, I suppose. There's a part of the story that I love, or there's an outcome, an alternate ending I love, where Ben's character is just a straw mech for the little munchkin guy.
Yes.
We didn't get that storyline, but I love my brain. I love it.
Scarecrow mix is a fabulous idea. I want to see it.
Which
awesome. Yeah. Anything else before we go? Okay, well, I'm very happy we got to do this together. I'm going to go ahead and hit stop.